All right.
All right, it is 6:32 and we are calling the Personnel Committee meeting to order. Present are myself, Christine Ressler, Kim Campworth, Mark Johnson, guest, thank you, and Debbie Stearns and Dr. Goggins. No comments from the public, no business, and we'll start with new business.
Okay, first item for business, we have a speech pathologist, Nedra Lee. She has been with us. I apologize for this mouse. Come on. She has been with us since '08. She's been an integral part of our student services department, and she has submitted a request for retirement in June of 2022. My assumption is there will be a few people who will attempt to get in under this current contract so as to maintain the 4% bumps over their last 4 years as opposed to the state law that was passed, which is 3. And my understanding is if, as long as there's a contract, they would be grandfathered in if they put in under this contract. So there will be quite a few, I think, that take advantage of that. So anyway, Nedra, though, is awesome. Look forward to having her for the next 4 years. And like I said, she's been with us since '08. Okay. Next one here is a special education teacher at Forest High School. God almighty, this mouse is going to drive me nuts. It could. This is kind of a cool story. Matt started out as a parapro with us a few years back. He was also an English teacher with us and was riffed as a result of staffing, not having enough sections in English, and he was a low man on the totem pole at the time. But now he's back and he got his special ed degree, and we are hoping to have him be a special ed teacher at Forest High School. So it's kind of a good story. He's been with us for a while and kind of got bad situation happened because of, you know, not any doing of his own, just scheduling issues. So good for him. He went out and got an additional degree and came back as a sped teacher. So okay, so here's Matt's application. Where he was a teacher for us in English in 12-13. As I said, he was also paraprofessional. I think anybody who can be a day camp counselor or coordinator can work with kids. Here's his education. All right, any questions about that one? No? All right, next we have Edgar Gonzalez Baeza, another really good story. Edgar, for the last 7 years, has been the part-time art teacher for the district. We, every year for the last 7 years, have had partial art in one building or another. He's actually, over the last 7 years, taught in all 4 of our buildings in a part-time role, from, you know, a 20% job all the way up to this year he was 80%. And with the move of Jenny Reed from the art position at Bremen to the fine arts supervisor, created an opening, and he's now full-time, or will be full-time. Okay.
What does it mean on his resume? What does it mean for certification type 9?
Secondary ed.
That's secondary
Type
ed. Okay.
9 secondary ed, yeah. Here's a little bit about him. Some other stuff that he does. He doesn't just teach, he does all kinds of stuff. And I'm going to have to ask him when I see him, because I didn't know this until I actually read his resume again today. I think this would be pretty cool. He's done different exhibitions, Veteran Art Stories and Images, State of the Union, and As You See It. So I'm kind of interested to see what that Veterans Art Stories and Images artwork of his looks like. Check that out. That'd be pretty cool, I think. Okay. So that's Edgar. And then we have a full-time, recommendation for full-time special ed teacher that will be shared between Hillcrest and Tinley Park High School. Amanda Nealon is a graduate of Trinity Christian. This past year, she taught elementary education, but while she was doing that, she was coaching at Oak Forest. She's been a freshman softball coach, and also this past year she was a varsity softball coach. But she wanted to be at the high school level, and so we're glad to have her over. Here's her recommendation. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. I know you've seen this. And then here's where she's been working.
I'd like her reason for leaving.
Yeah, she wants to be in high school. She's student teaching at Sandburg at Central Middle School, and graduate of Mother Macaulay, and also, as I said, Trinity Christian College. Okay. This next one's a name you probably have heard before, Suzanne Lappy. She's been a French teacher for us for the last couple of years. Unfortunately, those numbers don't always dictate full-time positions. So she's been anywhere from full-time to part-time in the district over the last few years. She was RIF'd this past spring because she was part-time. But we're bringing back her in another part-time role in the fall, 40%.
She just resigned? She talked to Brad today.
I didn't. She get a full-time job?
I think she found a full-time job.
Okay, I didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything.
Middle school.
Okay.
Was
So
she
Rick,
in middle school before?
she's been with us pretty much all the time.
No, this is a different.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure she likes.
This is.
She hasn't. She likes a part-time gig too. So.
Okay, this is a different.
Yeah.
But I thought he had a French opening today.
No, news to me. Okay. So again, good for us, good for her, be able to bring her back at least in a modified role. Student taught at Oak Park River Forest. And there's her education.
Wow.
Yeah, right? Went to France.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out. You really got to know your stuff if you're over there. You're walking around in circles otherwise. Okay.
I think that's her.
Next we have Shannon Gormley, who's going to be full-time at Tinley Park High School. Another good story. Shannon's been with us in multiple roles over the past few years. She actually interned at Oak Forest High School 2 years ago. And then the past year she was a FLC, well, excuse me, 3 years ago. And then this past year she was FLC coordinator and also has worked as a project manager at Tinley. So they know her very well. We've known her for quite some time in the district. And she will be a counselor at Tinley Park High School. Here's her information. Oh, you already know that stuff. This is some of the stuff you may not know. She's also brings quite a bit of life experience in other other positions.
Did we talk about this before? Is this additional counselor, or did someone, was she replacing someone?
She's filling the We initially had the position of social worker psychologist for the district. I don't know if you remember, we posted that
Okay.
2.0.
Yeah.
We didn't end up hiring that position for Tinley, and this lady as with a counseling certification can do that role.
Oh,
Because
okay.
the position that we wanted to fill was to be able to service non-special ed students, social emotional support. And because of her background, even with the counseling degree, she can still do that. Okay? All right. And then next is a social work intern. Nice Irish boy here, Dylan Murray. I'm assuming he is. Pretty interesting. Dylan has a bachelor's degree in psychology and then went back and got his master's degree in social work. Thing that we like about him and we kind of look for in all of these people who we hire now in social work and psych roles is their ability to work with groups of kids. The old model many years ago was to wait to see that a kid would act up and then they would be referred to a social worker or a psychologist. Now we collect data on kids and determine that there's groups of kids that have similar needs, and then those groups of kids meet on a regular basis with our social workers and psychologists. And so this guy comes with that experience already as an intern, which is really cool. For some of our people who've been kind of in the more traditional role for a past number of years, it's a little tougher transition for them moving into that group work. They're more attuned to one-on-one, but the direction of the district is moving towards actually servicing more kids as opposed to less, and being more proactive than waiting for the blow up and having to service the kid afterwards. So those are the kind of kids we're looking for, kind of people that we're looking for, so we're glad to have him with us. Okay. The next two, again, familiar names. Excuse me. Both special ed facilitators. Been with the district for a few years. Okay. First one is Angela Lee. And then the next one is, excuse me, Heather Kajewski. These positions were created a few years back when we transitioned our psychologists from being the lead person in IEP meetings and transitioning to the role I just talked about, where they're actually meeting with kids and using their education in a better manner than what we initially had them doing. And so in order to fill that void, the special ed facilitators, we pay them $198 a day. They're the ones who are doing a lot of the paperwork, a lot of the grunt work, doing a lot of the reporting, and meeting with kids and parents within those IEP meetings. That doesn't mean that a coordinator or a case manager wouldn't also be in those meetings, but this position was really created to kind of take away the grunt work that our psychologists were previously doing within all of that special ed. I would love to be able to tell you all the different things that they do, but that's kind of above my understanding. But I'm just kind of giving you the general history as to how these positions were created.
So is that different than some of the business support or project managers roles that have been filled?
Yeah. Project manager took away the grunt work that the counselors were doing, a lot of the testing and things of that nature. So, yeah. And again, this goes back a few years now, but when we started to bring back students from outside placements, we learned that we could reallocate that money better inside the district as opposed to externally, and get our people who have the appropriate certifications, qualifications, like our counselors, like our social workers and psychologists, to work more directly with kids. That was the general idea, and Dr. Kendall and I could probably show you some paperwork from about 6 years ago when we actually did the math as to still how much money we're saving by bringing back and servicing kids in our district. Okay, well that's Angela. Here's a little bit about what she's done. Here's her education. Again, if those of you who've been on the committee for a few years, it's a name you've probably heard before. These are positions also that are, we call ancillary positions, so every year we let them go at the March board meeting and then bring them back as needed. Okay. And then Heather Kajewski is the other special ed facilitator. Same responsibilities, different school. Some of the stuff she's done. Education. All right, so this next one is also kind of a cool story. Kelsey Nealon has actually been a PE teacher at Hillcrest High School for the last 3 years. And she has recently gotten her LBS 1 special ed certification. Kelsey's kind of known as a PE teacher who can work with a variety of kids, regardless of their issues or what they bring to the classroom. And so the people who were conducting interviews for the Delta Achieve program, which will be at South Suburban College, welcomed her application and loved her interview, and really look forward to seeing what she can do in our alternative setting as a special ed teacher with our students. Okay. As I said, she's been a PE teacher for us for the last 3. Here's some of the other stuff she's done. It's pretty interesting responsibilities there for a college kid, for a young kid. And here's her education. There's a special ed certification on there as well. This is from when she applied as a teacher a few years back.
She had a 36.
4 out of 4 at U of I. That's pretty good. Count me out on that. Okay. Now for the education support personnel from the BEST union. We had a resignation for the student services secretary at the last board meeting. So we're recommending a replacement. We're recommending Karen Jackson to be a 12-month Student Services Secretary at Hillcrest High School. Karen has been project manager at Hillcrest. She's got a background prior to becoming project manager as an office manager, which will serve her well in the Student Services office. And she also has a degree, which is kind of cool, in political science. So, here's some of the stuff she's been doing over the last few years. And here's your education. Okay. All right. Next. This mouse is killing me today. I'm just running out of batteries. I like this little handle. Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh. Let's design it something that'd be kind of nice. Look at it, see? It won't grab. Next we have employment of a grounds maintenance employee at Tinley Park. Last board meeting, you approved a retirement for a gentleman currently there, so we're recommending that Bill Stearns replace that individual. Bill has been a part-time weekender for us as well as full-time at Bremen. He is a retired fireman, and while he was at the firehouse, he was in charge of their maintenance and grounds. So there's quite a bit of stuff going on at Tinley Park High School, as you know, with respect to building and things of that nature. So they're really looking forward to getting him started as their grounds maintenance employee.
So for Mr. Stearns here, I don't question the qualifications. You know, I hear good things about his work and, you know, talk to you about his qualifications. I think there's a concern as far as his quick movement within the district and what perception that might give. And I just wanted to see if there were any other concerns along that same line, just to, you know, and I even asked you earlier today, is this common to see somebody move so quickly from, you know, the weekender to now moving into a position like this? And, you know, were any other candidates passed up for this that maybe were also qualified, or was he given any sort of preferential treatment for this position?
Did you have any other internal applicants for this position? Oh, we had several.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so Darren, there's probably, I know for sure there's 5 of these applicants are internal. I know Darren Young, Mario Rivera, Adam Villafranca, and David Thielgard are also internal applicants.
So now, I know when we approved the position in the beginning, it was just for a weekend position, and he was interested because we were having a hard time finding someone to fill the weekend position. And then from there, it was to Bremen for full-time. And then was it at was he at Oak Forest as well? No.
No.
Now from Bremen back to Tinley.
Yes.
Yeah. From what I know on this, they had 2 other applicants outside that were the recommended as well, but the pay wasn't in the right category for them.
Okay.
So.
And the other internal candidates, are they at Tinley now?
I think David is.
David is.
I don't believe the others are.
And would it be a promotion for those that are at Tinley now if they were to take this position?
It would be more pay.
Okay.
There is a little bit of a pay differential between, because those gentlemen are currently custodians.
And they're on the old salary schedule. So they would have they would continue on the old salary schedule.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of a
So-
pay upgrade.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they would actually, I don't know if we actually view it as a, what did you say?
A promotion.
Promotion.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a different.
But it'd be an increase
It's a
in-
different position that has a little higher rate of pay.
And does it bring them to a different shift that they may be on now?
It's
You
a
know,
first shift.
I know it's a first shift
Yeah,
position.
it
Are
would.
they on a first shift
Yeah, I know
now?
I know
David
Darren's on
is.
second.
David's the first shift.
I don't know the others, what shift they are on, off the top of my head.
And they didn't have the same qualifications, or what was the reasoning for them not being offered the position?
I don't know, only because I don't have that specific of a conversation with regard to all of the people that were interviewed. I can only tell you, based upon my conversation, why they recommended Bill.
And I'm asking the questions because I just want to make sure that it is appearing fair. It's, you know, we have
Sure.
a board member's husband who's moved a lot in the last couple of months, and we have other people already there that know, you know, the grounds and have been at the building, and, you know, why aren't they, I would like to know why they weren't qualified for the position.
Yeah.
David is not healthy. It's a pretty aggressive position. He's
Okay.
had some health issues.
So physical limitations on that?
He's still doing his job, but there's a lot more to the outside if you're shoveling snow and things like that.
I think I just kind of in the same lines of what Kim is saying is you know, if we can get, you know, more information for the board meeting that we can stand behind that says that, given the circumstances, because again, we want to make sure everyone's given a fair opportunity here and that there is a preferential treatment. If we can have a better understanding, and it could be just in the board packet or an email, we don't have to make an announcement as to what everyone's qualifications
Right.
were or not, just that we can make the appropriate vote and that we can feel comfortable that, you know, that everyone got a fair opportunity at this position.
Okay. Can do.
Thank you.
Okay. And here's Bill's application. And then, my goodness gracious. Okay. Next.
Lost it.
Oh, I did. Next, we have a change in position. Al Reed, name you probably remember. Al has been a custodian with us. He's also been a general maintenance employee with us. He's currently at Oak Forest High School. Al has a lot of experience. I'll show you his application. A lot of experience in general maintenance and repair. And he also, for a number of years, was a supervisor for a tool and die company. So he has supervisor experience. Oak Forest High School the principal is very excited to have him come and replace the outgoing building chief at Oak Forest High School. And here's some information about where he worked. This is quite lengthy, so I'll give you a little bit of time.
So for this particular position, we have 4 other internal applicants. It's Mike, Chris, David, and Martin.
Let me find it. Just give me 1 second. I want to make sure I answer your question correctly.
Sure. Page 9.
Yeah, it's getting there. Nope. We'll come up with a different system.
Here you go.
There we go. Yes, Mike Colhorn, Chris Lopez, Dave Reed, and Martin Witt. Mike is a certified maintenance carpenter. He's been with us for about 3 years. Chris is currently the second shift supervisor at Tinley Park High School, and he's done that for the last 2 years. Dave Reed is actually Al's brother. He's been the maintenance man at Bremen for, boy, I don't even know how long, quite a few years. And Marty is a custodian at Bremen High School. Martin is a custodian at Bremen High School. Okay.
And it wasn't open outside.
Correct.
What'd you say?
It wasn't open to the outside.
Okay.
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 And then last is another cool story. I don't know if you know Willie Franklin, but Willie's been a second shift and third shift custodian for the past 15 years at Hillcrest High School. He's an outstanding worker. He's an ambassador for Hillcrest. If he's probably the guy for Hillcrest graduation at the Tinley Park area. That's the greeter out there. Make sure you guys are in the right place and everything's running smoothly. Feel real good about recommending him to be the second shift supervisor. Last board meeting, you approved the second shift supervisor at Hillcrest to become the building chief. So this is a promotion.
Was this a new add to the packet?
Was it not in there?
I don't
It-
remember.
I don't know.
It may be.
LB was the last one.
Yeah.
It may be.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to try to remember reading that
Yeah.
one.
This Will Franklin went to Bremen.
I don't know. To find out.
I just wanted to see where Will Franklin graduated.
Yeah, he's good. Real good guy. Real good dude.
Yeah,
All right,
Sounds good.
good to go. 7:06.